What is going on, everyone? Crew, welcome back to the show. Hope everybody is good. Round 2 of the NFL playoffs is vastly approaching. Going to be absolutely stellar. But we're continuing down Dynasty buy or sell, this time on the quarterbacks. Concluding this series just a little bit. I mean, it is early into the offseason for fantasy football, but I'm telling y'all, man, the values is where we gain and where we lose. So if we do not gain those values, you're going to keep being on the bottom and then rebuilding those clubs. So we got to get in the, goods when it comes to some of these players, including these quarterbacks. First one is Drake May, my dude. You guys know, if you guys watch my scouting reports, you guys definitely know Drake was one of my favorites, man. Coming out, I loved his game, breaking down his film, called him one of the best quarterbacks with the best footwork to come out of this draft, even though guys like Jaden Daniels, I mean, they completely ascended higher this season. But we got to understand, Drake May didn't have a whole heck of a lot to work with, playing on a ridiculously porous team. And I mean, he showed flash anyway, man. Potential is there. May, to me, is kind of like that lesser Josh Allen type of quarterback. Rushing upside, huge arm, incredible ball placement. All he needs is some refinement to go around. We know the New England Patriots, they just hired head coach Mike Vrabel to build. And we know, I mean, they're going to put some pieces around him as well, which is going to make Drake May improve that much more. He is only 22 years of age. Dynasty ranked QB 13 right now. He hit 50% on that boom rate this season, which is pretty good for the fact that he did take over as the season did go on over a Jacoby Brissett. Still finished as a quarterback 23, y'all, 187 points. So I'm telling you, there still is a whole heaping heck of a lot to like, and if they do go, we'll see what Travis Hunter does do in the draft. He said he's likely going to go DB, but if he is a wide receiver, you team him up in New England with a Travis Hunter and Drake May. Oh my goodness, it's bad for Bills fans, but it's great for fantasy. I'm definitely buying a Drake May everywhere I got him. Jordan Love, feeling the love for love. Okay, not so much love coming out of this last week of the wild card round, but Jordan Love is 26 years of age. He is currently the Dynasty ranked quarterback number 7, 53% on the boom rate. So something of a regression this year. 244 points, finished as the QB 17. So definitely a regression from what we saw last year. Thought it was going to be that much better, but there was a lot of things that happened this season. I mean, it did not go as planned. Injuries were there for a Jordan Love, and I truly believe it did derail majority of his season and why he regressed in this offense as well. But, I mean, we do have to put some blame on the man as well. He did not look very good at times. I mean, there were questionable plays, questionable throws, questionable, schemed up situations. Did not look good, as they did also transition to something of a more run-heavy offense. I said back in week 8, what do they want to be? It looked like the Green Bay Packers were confused on their own identity at some points. And I mean, they definitely went away from being the more multifaceted club and being more run-heavy. It went to points of Jaden Reed, but not becoming the feature product in this offense like he was, which is also very strange. But I'm telling you, man, the Pack, they're a team on the ups. I love me some Love. I think he is pretty damn good, and he should continue. They're going to continue to round out this wide receiver room as well, as it feels like they just got a bunch of patch-made solutions outside of a Dobbs, maybe. Watson can never stay healthy, and we know the list, okay? And it is the way it is in Green Bay. His value has dipped just a little bit, so that's telling me it is time to buy a Jordan Love, even though it is QB7 on the Dynasty rank. It is dropping just a little bit. There's people that are going to be a little lukewarm on a Love. I'm definitely taking advantage of that opportunity. Trevor Lawrence, sunshine, 25 years of age. Dynasty QB number 20 at this point. He also hit 50% on the boom rate, 152 points, finished as the QB 27. Definitely a rough year. And I mean, with this one, I could legit go either way. Trevor Lawrence completely disappointed all of us this season. A lot of y'all jumping ship already. I'm not ready to say that just yet. He looked like a rookie again this year, but I mean, however, they're going to have a new coach, hopefully a new outlook, and maybe we'll see Trevor Lawrence. I mean, he was also playing hurt. Let's be real. Hurt that shoulder, dealt with some concussions. Offensive line wasn't necessarily great, but Trevor Lawrence didn't do himself a whole heaping of favors either. And I mean, most of the season was basically shut down for him anyway as he went to the injured reserve, as they realized their season was definitely going nowhere. They got pieces to work with, just like a Brian Thomas Jr., legit alpha wide receiver 1 on this team, which is very good. Going to have high draft picks once again. So I'm not going to sugarcoat it. There is risk, okay? Is he ever going to be the guy that we ever thought he was going to be and rebound? Potentially. I'm just not willing to say I'm done with the Trevor Lawrence just yet. And with a new head coach, hopefully it is an offensive mind that's better off than the old school coaches, has some ways to, progress and build his game. I still like me Trevor Lawrence, and his value is at bottom dollar right now, and you could definitely get him. Superflex leagues, 110%. I'm trying to buy a Trevor Lawrence. Justin Fields, another quarterback here, 25 years of age, dynasty rank 29. Boom rate, though, this is the interesting aspect. A lot of y'all will be like, man, I'm not going for Justin Fields. 66.7% on the boom rate this past year. Still finished as a quarterback 32 with 120 points until he was replaced by a Russell Wilson. So Coach Tomlin, he decided, it was done for him because they thought a better shot with Russell Wilson was the opportunity. Big mistake in my opinion, as okay, fine. Justin Fields was not lighting the, stat sheet ablaze. He was winning games, man. He was taking over contests once again with his legs like we saw in Chicago, and he was starting to make some plays and throws down the field that was respectable of his game. I get it, man. He gets so much disrespect. It's a big problem. When he was on the field, I mean, what else can we say? He was still a better fantasy QB than he was necessarily a real-life QB. But the biggest question marks, will the Steelers re-sign this man this offseason? We will see. Will he find a new club to actually give him a chance? We will see. I mean, there's a definite, possibility Justin Fields doesn't get another shot to be a starter in this league, but I truly believe that someone will give him an opportunity, especially with a weaker draft class coming. I do like some Justin Fields. We'll see, man. It's one of these situations where if you're willing to take a shot, buy super low, stash him on your bench. Abso-freaking-lutely, that's my plan in this regard, because if he does pop off, you got yourself a QB with bottom dollar rates who is still 25 years of age and just scratching the surface. It's all confidence with a Justin Fields. He needs the right system, right team, and hopefully he finds it this year, but definitely buying super low on a Justin Fields and hoping for the best. Bryce Young, 23 years of age, Dynasty QB 24, 42% on the boom rate. Not great, but he did pick up steam as he went on. 204 points, finished as the 20th ranked quarterback this season. And I mean, perhaps this was one of the biggest turnarounds we've ever seen from a quarterback. Bryce Young is definitely proven the fact that he was good, man. We should never give up on fully young QBs. Haven't really been developed properly, haven't been really given a shot. Bryce Young definitely hit, man, as the season wore on. Boomed in 5 of the last 7 games, baby, and looked like the Roll Tide QB we know when we scouted him coming out of college. I was ready to pack up ship with a Bryce Young too, I won't lie. But I mean, at this point, there's going to still be some people that got lukewarm feelings on the man, and the potential and confidence is exactly what you're looking for out of this man. Confidence was definitely shattered. Now it is back in a big way. They're going to continue to hopefully add in Carolina, and I mean, I won't overlook this whatsoever, but buy a Bryce Young on the mid-level value to low value right now and hope that ascension does continue to rise because it is a good one. He looked great as the last, 7 games of the season. Definitely buying a Bryce Young. Joe Milton, last buy on my board. Okay, this one is definitely for a, potential shot at some glory. 24 years of age, Dynasty QB 56. So nobody's basically buying him, and it's not just a recency bias just due to that last game that he did play, which he is a boom rate of 1 for 1 in this season, 19.2 points versus the Buffalo Bills. He is ranked as QB 55. Sometimes we got to understand players that we have, they're real dark horses, and then this guy's no different. Former Tennessee product Joe Milton for sure is that guy, man. Suited up in Week 18, like I'm saying, for the Pats. Yes, I understand. It was against the Buffalo Bills backups, but Milton did look decisive, powerful. He flashed that cannon of an arm, which was the best arm coming out of the draft class with guys like JD and Drake May especially. His arm talent is definitely off the chart. So it is one of those situations where he is a true raw prospect, loaded with ability, and can it all be, coached up and turned around to be one of these guys? Will teams be calling to lure him from these Patriots? It is very possible since they got Drake May, new head coach, and they're likely going with Drake May as a franchise passer at this point. But I'm telling y'all, Milton could legit be everything we wanted somebody like an Anthony Richardson to be. I'm telling y'all, man, he just needs a shot. Prescott. He needs to put it all together. He needs a good system. He needs patience. He needs snaps and playing time. I'm definitely taking a shot myself, man. If I can snag a Milton for cheap, I'm definitely buying, put him in my taxi squad, and I am going to wait and smile when it does hit. Anthony Richardson's first on my cell. Speaking of A-Rich, man, 22 years of age, Dynasty QB 17, only 45% on the boom rate, 174 points, finished as a QB 25. So when I'm speaking of an A-Rich, I mean, the time has come for me to say sell, even though I'm being hypocritical in this sense, saying, don't give up on young QBs just yet. This one just feels a little bit different to me simply because the sample size has been there for us, already to suggest what is an A-Rich. And it's enough for me to say the struggles with the accuracy are a big problem for me. He doesn't, stay away and shy away from the contact when he is running the football. That's a big problem. He finds his way into that medical room way too much, and I don't like it. And then subsequently was benched to then get pulled back afterward. But we understand when he does play, he's that huge rushing upside quarterback, gives us 20-plus points on any given day when he is feeling it. But how often do we see it? It is injuries and consistency are the major issues for me with an A-Rich, even though he's loaded with ability, loaded with potential. I mean, we just haven't seen it so far to be, very encouraged to say I'm really going to be capping on a Anthony Richardson at this point. I can't do it. Right now, I'm definitely looking to shop his services. Even though his value is kind of hovering up and down at this point, I'm definitely shopping him to see what values I can get back. Dak Prescott, Dallas Cowboys. Okay, the time has come for me as well with a Dak Prescott. Recoup some value from what we can for Dak. Because, out the door is Coach McCarthy. Who the boys going to, bring in as a head coach? They got massive issues all over the board, man. Issues in terms of salary cap troubles. Could they bring a Deion Sanders to be the head coach? That's a rumor buzz around the league right now. Which could mean what, man? They got to trade a Dak Prescott in hopes to move up in the draft. And then Deion drafts his son, Shedeur Sanders, to be the, next franchise quarterback for the Cowboys. It all sounds lovely on paper, but how is that definitely going to go? But for a Dak Prescott, everything's on the table at this point. The Cowboys continue to be nothing more than underachievers, and it is a big problem. Jerry Jones definitely has got to mix it up. Now with no McCarthy, you're going to have a different look in Dallas. There could be a lot of, former Dallas players or coaches coming back in the running for this job, as well as a Deion. I'm telling you, I'll sell Dak with a package. Get as much value as you possibly can. He is 31 years of age. Currently still sits at the Dynasty quarterback 19, which is not terrible. He finished 124 points, finishing as a QB 31 before he went down with his season-ending injury. But, Dak is still a good quarterback. We know he can put up some points, but, injuries again, how these Cowboys are rolling, I'm done, man. I think it's possible you can absolutely get value back, even in a package deal, and you can ship Dak out off your team. Sam Darnold, next one on my board, 27 years of age, and again, this is not due in part to recency bias to the playoff loss that they just took. But, what a turnaround season it was for Sam Darnold, no question. Like I'm saying, the ending probably did cost him millions of dollars. Not good for Sam. But, Darnold and the Vikings, they fell flat on their face all around. They did not look good. Could Sam be back in Minnesota? That's the biggest question mark. He could. But, it's highly unlikely, as they probably don't want to give him the big payday. They might franchise tag him, where J.J. McCarthy is definitely in the waiting. They still got Daniel Jones. Daniel Penny's in there as well. So they do got an options at quarterback if they want to move in that direction. But Darnold still's got that upside. He is 27 years of age. Somebody will pay this man. And right now he's at an all-time high for fantasy football value, and we need to cash in on this man without question, because if he does not go back to the Vikings with a Coach O'Connell, you got to believe that the ceiling is going to definitely fall through the floor just a little bit, as it looked like a perfect marriage with an O'Connell and a Sam Darnold. Value to return on investment is the name of the game, and it's time to sell Darnold. 27 years of age, like I'm saying, 76% on that boom rate, 320 points, finished as a top 10 QB, as a QB 9. You're not going to get much better value than this for Sam Darnold. Cash in big on Sam. It's not just from the playoff game, it's from the season overall. This is a cash-in opportunity. Justin Herbert, Herbie, 26 years of age, Dynasty ranked QB 9 right now, 47% on the boom rate. So he's still relegated very highly in circles in Dynasty, a top 10 quarterback still, and I tend to agree. He did have a good season overall, 288 points, finished as the quarterback 12. So for the record, I'm putting it down here. Justin Herbert is one of the better quarterbacks in this league. Don't care what anybody says. He has all the makings, and he has shown us quite a bit what he is capable of. And it should not be defined by this 4-interception game into the playoff wildcard round, which they lost. So I'm telling y'all, it is one of those situations. First-year head coach with a Harbaugh. They got success, but I mean, this will likely be, I'm telling y'all, the worst, team that Herbie has in the Harbaugh regime, as he's just going to build this thing in his tenure. He's going to build, he's going to add, giving Herbie more weapons. Lad McConkey, he's a good lad. He definitely showcased that, but they're going to be adding wide receiver talent. They're going to be adding more offensive line support. You know what Harbaugh likes to do, and Herbert even said himself, it took him about halfway point of the season to really feel comfortable with the offensive system, and that's where we saw him take off in the second half, no question. But I mean, he's got all the tools. But with all that said, here's the situation. The one thing that scares me about a Herbert, why I got him on the sell, is because could he be a Kirk Cousins 2.0 in terms of clutch ability? This is what scares me a little bit. He could put up a lot of stats, which is great for fantasy football, great for his value, but is he ever going to be that guy that's, better than a Kirk Cousins? We will see. He's had opportunities, and he's failed in a lot of them already. And I mean, I'm not going to give him away. I'm telling you all that right now. I'm pumping him up while I'm kind of trying to sell him as well. So it gives both on the, he's one of these guys you just got to look around and say, what would you pay me for Herbert? Because I'm definitely not giving him away. And if the value is good, I'm definitely shipping him out in that sense. But you got to remain high on a Herbert and sell him. Keep that in mind. You're not giving this man away because he still is a very good quality quarterback. Jared Goff, 30 years old, Dynasty QB 15. 64% on the boom rate, a massive 335 points, finished as the QB6, one of his best seasons in the NFL for fantasy football especially. And I mean, we know these Detroit Lions, man. This team ain't going no place, and they're going to be the cream on the crop for the many years to come as long as they continue the way they're going. Jared Goff isn't, expected to be the guy every week, and I think that's kind of what gives me the pause. So when you're saying that, is everyone's going to look at his averages per game, you got to look at boom rate over averages because it gives you what the consistency rates are week in, week out, and we know that this Detroit team is definitely a run-heavy team first, and then Jared Goff is definitely there to pick them apart on each defense with the play action, with the short plays, and the deep shots now with integrated JMO on this offense. But I mean, I'd rather grab picks and players for a QB that could either finish top 5 or drop into the top 20s. Like, that's what we're getting out of a Jared Goff. Even in this offense with Detroit, it is hit and miss at times because they are so run heavy, because they are so dominant, because they know how to win football games. The value's off the charts, man. And this is basically what heeds my argument to say we got to gain those damn values, man. There are better franchise quarterbacks out there that we can grab. And Jared Goff right now, if you are not at least shopping his services to see what you could get on the open market, you're doing yourself a grave disservice, man. I'm telling y'all. It is time. I'm definitely shopping a Goff as they, 30 years old is not old, but you definitely got to understand what you got with Goff. The peak of the ceiling may be hit here in the next couple of years. I'm definitely being early on it, and I'm trying to recoup everything I can for a Jared Goff. Last one is Tua Tagovailoa, 26 years of age, Dynasty QB 18. 50% on the boom rate, under 200 points, finished as the quarterback 22. And, I mean, this is one of the easier sells for me. The Finns, Tua, I mean, because he's literally, one headshot away from being into forced retirement. And, I mean, it's not good, man. Try to find a club that definitely requires a QB. They're extremely desperate, and you can milk them for all they got in terms of value in a trade proposal as well. Tua went on the field, let's be fair. He is very accurate. He can put up some big numbers. However, the biggest issues I got now, will Tyreek Hill return? Will Waddle bounce back? Will Coach McDaniel find his way again? Because it appeared he was figured out just a little bit this season. So, I mean, the value definitely did drop this year for a Tua at this point. So I wouldn't hate waiting before selling just to wait and see if his, value can move up the charts. But at this point, I'm gauging, just like a Goff, I'm gauging interest from other QB-needy managers and see what the appetite is, because it is very important to understand the, appetite for your league and where they sit with quarterbacks. But again, do not give Tua away because he can throw you 4,000, give you, roughly 30 touchdowns if Tyreek and the company stay. But I mean, at this point, try to get as much value back for these quarterbacks as you can and revamp and improve your team everywhere possible, because it's one in the aggregate, not just on one single position. But there you have it. That is buy or sell quarterbacks. And I mean, we got tons of stuff coming. Playoffs are, rounded out. We're going to Super Bowl's a few weeks away. And then we got, a complete offseason material coming. Rookies, Senior Bowl, scouting reports, more Dynasty content. And then we're right back into the NFL draft and then continuing for prep next year. So I will not leave y'all hanging. You'll be the best in your leagues. There is no question. But nevertheless, as always, don't forget to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, jump in those comments, give me your thoughts, and we'll see you next time. I am out.